Question 4. Define the term soil tillage. The agricultural preparation of soil by mechanical agitation of various types such as digging, stirring, and overturning, human-powered tilling methods using hand tools including shoveling, picking, metal work, hoeing, and raking. Distinction between primary tillage and secondary tillage. Primary tillage is the breaking of the soil into big clods with the aid of the plow or other appropriate implements, whereas secondary soil tillage is the pulverizing/breaking of the soil clods into fine tilth. Question 5. Define vegetation propagation. Vegetation propagation is a form of asexual reproduction of a plant. Only one plant is involved and the offspring of a one parent. Question 5. Define vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation is a form of asexual reproduction of a plant. Only one plant is involved and the offspring is of one parent. The new plant is genetically identical to the parent. Natural vegetative propagation. New plant parts of the parent plant. Give 3 advantages and 3 disadvantages of vegetative propagation. Advantages and disadvantages of vegetative propagation. The offsprings are genetically identical and therefore advantageous traits can be preserved. Only one parent is required, which eliminates the need for special mechanisms such as pollination, etc. It is faster. For example, bacteria can multiply every 20 minutes. This helps the organisms to increase in number at a rapid loss in number due to various causes. Many plants are able to tide over unfavorable conditions. This is because of the presence of organs of asexual reproduction, corms, bulbs, etc. Vegetative propagation is especially beneficial to the agriculturists and horticulturists. They can help crops like bananas that do not produce viable seeds. The seedless varieties of fruits are also a result of vegetative propagation. The modern technique of tissue culture can be used to grow virus-free plants. Disadvantages. The plants gradually lose their vigor as there is no genetic variation. They are more prone to disease that are specific to result in the destruction of an entire crop. Since many plants are produced, it results in overcrowding and lack of nutrients. State 4 cultural methods used for controlling crop pests in the field. Cultural methods of pest control. These methods are aimed either at reducing the sources of inoculum or at reducing the exposure of plants to infection. Is the prevention of pest damage and not the destruction of an existent and damaging pest population. 1. Good soil preparation. This is the first important element in pest control strategy. A healthy soil means healthy plants which are relatively more rich in humus hosts, a wide variety of beneficial microflora that trap nematodes and destroy or keep in dormancy disease or encouraging beneficial insects. Use of indigenous varieties. Traditional varieties are hardier and relatively more resistant to pests. They can withstand harsh environmental conditions. Modern hybrids. Pest control through the use of mesh screen, that is nylon nets. Younger plants are usually preferred by insects and they suffer significantly from such attacks when compared to older plants. Therefore, a single netting over the plants during the first 3 0.045 days of their growth can reduce pest damage. Also, the net diffuse sunlight, thereby improving the quality of some vegetables. Finally, the net break the impact of raindrops, thus 1. Reducing physical damage to the plants, and 2. Reducing soil erosion from the base. Roughing or pruning. Removal of diseased plants or plant parts prevents the spread of microorganisms to unaffected areas. Question 6. Describe each of the following methods of crop improvement. 1. Introduction. 2. Crossbreeding. Introduction. It involves taking a crop from areas where it has existed to areas where it has not been existed. This is possible if the environmental conditions in such areas are similar to those of the plant's original home. Pollen can be collected and shipped to other areas for artificial pollination. Plants are allowed into most countries only after they have passed quarantine tests. Crossbreeding involves the transfer of heritable traits from one plant to another of the same species but different varieties through the fusion of their male and female gametes. It is used to upgrade species of plants which have qualities such as high yield, disease resistance, and heat, drought, wind tolerance. Pollen grains from plants with desirable qualities can be collected and transferred manually to the stigma of the flower of another plant of the same species, which might be lacking in such character, but has its own special traits, such as adaptation or a particular environment. Offspring with the desirable qualities is selected for propagation.